Hey everyone, welcome back to Learn English with Roast. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Rayan, the guy who once thought he had reached an advanced level of English because he could understand movie trailers.
And then?
Then I watched the actual movie and realized I understood about 10% of it.
That's usually how confidence and reality meet each other. Today's topic is something every English learner asks at some point. What is the difference between A1 and A2 English?
Maybe you've been studying English for a while and you're wondering if you're still an A1 learner or if you've already moved up to A2.
Or maybe you've seen these levels online and thought they sounded like secret robot names.
A1, A2, B1, B2, honestly, they do sound like passwords.
Don't worry. By the end of this episode, you'll clearly understand the difference between A1 and A2 English, what skills belong to each level, and how you can move from one level to the next.
And before we start, here's a question for everyone listening. How would you describe your English level right now?
Beginner?
Intermediate?
Advanced?
Or maybe you're not sure at all.
Let us know in the comments, because many learners have the same question.
First, let's understand what these levels actually mean. A1 and A2 are part of the cefr system. That's a fancy name for a framework used around the world to measure language ability.
Think of it like levels in a video game. You don't start at level 50. You start at level 1 and slowly improve.
A1 is the first level, A2 is the second level. Both are considered beginner levels. But there is a big difference between them.
An A1 learner can survive basic conversations.
An A2 learner can participate in simple conversations.
That may sound like a small difference, but it changes everything.
Let's explore exactly how that works.
Imagine you meet someone for the first time. At the A1 level, you can usually introduce yourself.
You can say things like, "My name is Ali. I am from Pakistan. I am 20 years old."
You can answer simple questions about yourself.
But if the conversation becomes longer, many A1 learners start feeling nervous.
That's completely normal because A1 learners are still building their basic foundation.
Their vocabulary is limited, their grammar is simple, and they often need extra time to think before speaking.
For example, if someone asks, "What do you like to do on weekends?" an A1 learner might answer with very short sentences.
Something like, "I play cricket, I watch TV, I like music."
The message is clear, but the language is still very basic.
Now let's look at an A2 learner.
An A2 learner can give more information.
Instead of saying, "I play cricket," they might say, "I usually play cricket with my friends on Saturday because it's fun and helps me stay active."
Notice the difference.
The sentence is longer.
There are more details.
There is more confidence.
That's one of the biggest signs that someone has moved from A1 to A2.
They stop giving one-word answers and start expressing complete ideas.
Another major difference is vocabulary.
A1 learners know basic words related to everyday life.
Family,
Food,
numbers,
colors,
jobs,
countries,
time.
days of the week.
These are essential words that help people communicate in simple situations.
But A2 learners know a much wider range of vocabulary.
They can talk about hobbies,
Travel,
shopping,
health,
education,
future plans,
daily routines.
personal experiences.
They still make mistakes, but they have enough words to keep a conversation going.
Think about learning English like building a toolbox.
An A1 learner has a small toolbox.
An A2 learner has a bigger toolbox.
The more tools you have, the easier it becomes to solve problems and express ideas.
Here's another question for our listeners. When you speak English, do you struggle more with grammar or vocabulary?
Which one is more difficult for you?
Let us know because every learner faces different challenges.
Now let's talk about grammar.
Grammar is where many learners start feeling scared.
But don't worry. We're keeping this simple.
At the A1 level, learners use basic grammar structures.
For example, present simple tense.
I work in a bank.
She likes coffee.
They live in London.
A1 learners can also make simple questions.
Where do you live?
What is your name?
How old are you?
These structures are enough for basic communication.
However, A2 learners begin using more grammar patterns.
They can talk about the past.
I visited my grandmother last weekend.
They can talk about the future.
I'm going to start a new job next month.
They can compare things.
This phone is cheaper than that one.
They can connect ideas more naturally.
That's why A2 conversations sound smoother and more complete.
Another important difference is listening.
Many learners think listening only improves after speaking improves.
But actually, listening is one of the most important skills.
A1 learners can usually understand slow and clear speech.
If someone speaks too fast, they often get lost.
A2 learners can understand more everyday conversations,
Not everything.
but enough to follow the main idea.
Imagine watching a simple YouTube video in English.
An A1 learner may understand some individual words.
An A2 learner can usually understand the general topic.
That's a huge improvement.
Reading also changes a lot between these levels.
A1 learners can read short texts,
Simple signs.
short messages,
Basic emails.
small advertisements.
A2 learners can read longer paragraphs and understand more details.
They can read simple news articles, blog posts, and stories written for learners.
This is why reading regularly is such a powerful habit.
Even 10 minutes a day can make a big difference over time.
Now let's talk about something many learners worry about.
Mistakes.
Here's the truth.
A1 learners make mistakes.
A2 learners make mistakes.
B1 learners makes mistakes.
Even advanced speakers make mistakes.
The goal is not to be perfect.
The goal is to communicate better than you could yesterday.
That's how progress happens.
Many learners think they need perfect grammar before speaking.
But speaking is actually how you improve your grammar.
The more you use English, the stronger your skills become.
So if you're currently at A1 level, don't feel discouraged.
Every fluent speaker was once an A1 learner.
Every confident speaker once struggled with basic sentences.
The difference is that they kept practicing.
They kept making mistakes.
They kept learning.
And slowly, they improved.
So how can you move from A1 to A2?
First, increase your vocabulary every day.
Learn useful words, not random words.
Second, practice speaking regularly.
Even 5 minutes a day helps.
Third, listen to simple English content,
Podcasts,
videos,
audiobooks.
anything that matches your level.
Fourth, read simple texts consistently.
Reading helps you learn grammar and vocabulary naturally.
And finally, be patient.
Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint.
You don't become fluent overnight.
But every conversation, every new word, and every small improvement moves you closer to your goal.
Now that we understand the basic difference between A1 and A2 English, let's talk about something many learners experience but don't always understand. Sometimes you feel like you're improving, and other times you feel completely stuck.
Oh, yes. One day you're understanding everything in your English lesson, and the next day someone speaks to you, and your brain suddenly decides to take a vacation.
That's actually a normal part of learning a language.
Many learners think they're failing when they don't understand everything.
But the truth is that language learning isn't a straight line.
It's more like climbing a mountain. Sometimes you move up quickly. Sometimes you stop and rest. Sometimes you even feel like you're moving backward.
But if you keep going, you're still making progress.
One of the biggest differences between A1 and A2 learners is confidence.
That's interesting because many people think the biggest difference is grammar.
Grammar matters, but confidence matters too.
An A1 learner often worries about every word.
They think, is this correct?
Am I using the right tense?
What if people laugh at my mistakes?
As a result, they speak very little.
Sometimes, they know the answer but stay silent because they're afraid of making an error.
A2 learners still make mistakes,
Lots of mistakes.
but they become more comfortable speaking anyway.
They realize that communication is more important than perfection.
Imagine 2 learners.
The first learner knows 100 words but isn't afraid to use them.
The second learner knows 300 words but never speaks because they're scared.
Which learner will improve faster?
Usually the one who practices speaking.
Exactly.
Another difference is how learners handle conversations.
At the A1 level, conversations are often very short.
Someone asks, "What do you do?"
You answer, I am a student.
Conversation finished.
Everyone stands there, awkwardly looking at each other.
But at the A2 level, learners can keep the conversation going.
They might say, I am a student. I study computer science and I hope to become a software engineer.
Suddenly, there is more information.
and more opportunities for conversation.
This is why expanding your answers is such an important skill.
Let's practice.
If someone asks, "What is your favorite food?" an A1 learner might say, "Pizza."
That's correct, but very short.
An A2 learner could say, "My favorite food is pizza because I love cheese and spicy toppings."
Same question,
Same basic answer.
but much more communication.
Here's a challenge for everyone listening.
The next time someone asks you a question in English, don't answer with just one word,
Try adding one extra sentence.
then another.
You might be surprised by how much your speaking improves.
Let's talk about listening, because that's another area where A2 learners become stronger.
Many A1 learners try to understand every single word they hear.
And that's a problem because even native speakers don't focus on every single word.
They focus on meaning.
Imagine someone says, "I went to the store yesterday because I needed some milk."
If you understand store, yesterday, and milk, you can probably understand the main idea.
You don't need to panic if you miss one or two words.
A2 learners start developing this skill.
They learn to listen for meaning instead of perfection.
That's why they understand conversations more easily.
Another area where A2 learners improve is asking questions.
Questions are incredibly important in communication.
At A1 level, learners can ask simple questions.
Where are you from?
How old are you?
What is your job?
These are useful questions.
But A2 learners can ask more detailed questions.
Why did you choose that job?
How long have you lived there?
What do you enjoy most about it?
Notice how the conversation becomes deeper.
That's one of the signs you're moving toward A2.
You're not just answering questions anymore.
You're helping create the conversation.
Here's another question for everyone listening.
When was the last time you had a conversation in English?
Was it today?
Last week?
Last month?
Or maybe you've never had one yet.
Whatever your answer is, remember that every conversation is practice.
And every bit of practice helps you move closer to your goals.
The journey from A1 to A2 isn't about becoming perfect.
It's about becoming more comfortable, more confident, and more capable of expressing yourself.
And that's exactly what we're going to continue exploring. Let's continue by talking about one of the biggest challenges English learners face when moving from A1 to A2 level: speaking naturally. Many learners know grammar rules, memorize vocabulary, and complete exercises successfully. But when it's time to speak, everything suddenly disappears.
I think every English learner has experienced that moment.
Absolutely. You're studying alone and everything seems easy.
Then someone asks you a simple question in English, and your brain says, "Sorry, we're closed today."
That's because speaking and studying are two different skills.
You can know something and still struggle to use it in real life.
Imagine learning how to drive a car by reading books.
You might understand the rules perfectly.
But until you actually sit behind the wheel, you won't become a confident driver.
English works the same way.
A1 learners often focus on memorizing words.
That's important, but vocabulary alone isn't enough.
You also need to practice using those words in sentences.
For example, imagine you learn the word restaurant.
Great.
But can you use it in a conversation?
An A1 learner might say, "Restaurant good."
The message is understandable.
But an A2 learner could say, "I went to a restaurant with my friends last weekend and the food was delicious."
That's a much richer sentence.
The difference isn't just vocabulary.
It's the ability to connect ideas together.
One way to improve this skill is by talking about your daily life.
Many learners think they need interesting topics.
But your daily routine is actually one of the best topics for practice.
Think about it.
You already know your routine.
You know what time you wake up.
You know what you eat.
You know where you study or work.
At A1 level, you might say, "I wake up at 7.
At A2 level, you can expand that idea.
I usually wake up at 7 because I start work at 8. After breakfast, I take the bus to the office."
Suddenly, you're creating a small story instead of a single sentence.
Another difference between A1 and A2 learners is how they handle mistakes.
A1 learners often stop speaking when they make a mistake.
They think, "Oh no, I used the wrong word."
Then they lose confidence.
A2 learners start understanding something important.
Mistakes are part of communication.
Even native speakers make mistakes.
Sometimes they forget words.
Sometimes they use incorrect grammar.
Sometimes they say one thing but mean another.
The difference is that they keep talking.
They don't stop the conversation every time something isn't perfect.
That's a mindset every learner should develop.
Focus on communication first.
Perfection can come later.
Let's talk about another important skill, describing things.
At A1 level, descriptions are usually very basic.
Imagine I ask you to describe your best friend.
An A1 learner might say, "He is nice, he is funny."
Good, start.
But an A2 learner can provide more details.
My best friend is very funny and friendly. We met at school 5 years ago, and we enjoy playing football together every weekend.
Notice how much more information the listener receives.
That's exactly what happens as your English develops.
You don't just know more words.
You learn how to build stronger sentences.
Here's a challenge for everyone listening.
Choose one person in your life.
Maybe a friend.
Maybe a family member.
Maybe a teacher.
Now try describing that person in English using at least 5 complete sentences.
If that's difficult, don't worry.
That simply shows you what you need to practice.
Learning a language isn't about discovering what you're bad at.
It's about discovering what you can improve.
Another area where A2 learners become stronger is understanding context.
Context is incredibly powerful.
Imagine someone says, "I'm freezing."
An A1 learner might focus only on the individual word.
An A2 learner starts understanding the situation.
They realize the person feels very cold.
Context helps you understand conversations even when you don't know every word.
And that's one of the most important skills in real-world communication.
So if you're currently at A1 level, remember this.
You don't need to know thousands of words to improve,
You need to use the words you already know more effectively.
because confidence grows through practice.
And practice is what turns an A1 learner into an A2 learner. So far, we've talked about vocabulary, speaking, confidence, and communication. But now let's discuss something that many learners struggle with every single day: understanding English when native speakers talk.
Ah yes, the moment when you understand your teacher perfectly. But then you watch a movie and suddenly it sounds like everyone is speaking at the speed of light.
Exactly. Many learners think they're bad at English because they can't understand native speakers.
But that's not necessarily true.
In fact, understanding fast English is one of the biggest differences between A1 and A2 learners.
At the A1 level, learners usually understand English when people speak slowly and clearly.
For example, if someone says, "Hello, my name is John, I live in New York."
Most A1 learners can understand that.
The vocabulary is simple.
The speed is slow.
The sentences are short.
But real conversations are often different.
Native speakers connect words together.
They speak quickly,
They use expressions.
and sometimes they don't pronounce every word perfectly.
This can feel overwhelming for beginners.
I remember when I first started listening to native speakers.
What happened?
I felt like I was hearing one very long word instead of a sentence.
That's actually a common experience.
Many learners think the problem is vocabulary,
Sometimes it is.
but often the problem is listening practice.
A1 learners tend to listen mainly to lessons,
A2 learners start listening to real English more often.
podcasts,
Videos,
interviews.
simple conversations.
The more you listen, the more familiar English sounds become.
Think about music.
If you hear a song once, you might not remember it.
But after hearing it 20 times, you know every word.
Listening works in a similar way.
Repetition trains your brain.
Another important difference is that A2 learners stop trying to understand every single word.
This is one of the biggest breakthroughs in language learning.
Many beginners believe they must understand 100% of what they hear.
But even native speakers don't always catch every word.
Instead, they focus on the main idea.
Imagine someone says, "Yesterday I missed my bus, so I arrived late for work."
Maybe you don't know every word.
But if you understand yesterday, bus, and late, you can probably understand the situation.
That's the power of context.
Context helps fill in the missing pieces.
Let's do a quick example.
Imagine you hear this sentence. Sarah brought an umbrella because the weather forecast predicted heavy rain.
Maybe you don't know the word forecast.
But you know umbrella and rain.
So you can guess that forecast has something to do with weather.
That's exactly what stronger learners do.
They don't panic when they hear an unfamiliar word.
They use clues to understand the meaning.
Another thing A2 learners do better is recognize common phrases.
Native speakers don't always speak word by word.
They use chunks of language.
For example, how are you?
See you later.
What do you think?
That sounds great.
These phrases appear again and again in everyday conversations.
The more phrases you learn, the easier listening becomes.
Because your brain starts recognizing entire groups of words instead of individual words.
Here's a question for everyone listening.
How much English do you hear every day?
5 minutes?
10 minutes?
30 minutes?
More?
If you want to move from A1 to A2 faster, try increasing your listening time.
Even 15 minutes a day can make a huge difference over several months.
And don't worry if you don't understand everything.
Understanding everything is not the goal.
Understanding more than you understood yesterday is the goal.
That's how progress happens.
Little by little.
Day by day.
Conversation by conversation.
And before you realize it, you'll understand far more English than you ever thought possible.
And that brings us to the end of today's discussion about A1 and A2 English levels.
We covered a lot today.
We talked about what A1 and A2 actually mean.
We explored the differences in vocabulary, grammar, speaking, listening, reading, and confidence.
And hopefully you now have a much clearer idea of where you are on your English learning journey.
The most important thing to remember is that being an A1 learner is not a weakness.
It's simply the beginning of the journey.
Every fluent English speaker started with simple words and basic sentences.
Nobody woke up one day speaking perfect English.
Progress happens one conversation, one lesson, and one practice session at a time.
If you're currently at A1 level, focus on building strong foundations.
Learn useful vocabulary.
Practice speaking every day.
Listen to simple English content regularly.
And don't be afraid of mistakes.
Because mistakes are proof that you're learning.
If you're already at A2 level, keep challenging yourself.
Read more.
Listen more.
Speak more.
The more English becomes part of your daily life, the faster you'll improve.
And remember, you don't need to compare yourself to other learners.
Compare yourself to the person you were 6 months ago.
That's where you'll see your real progress.
Before we finish, here's today's question of the day.
What is your current English level?
Do you think you're A1?
A2?
Or maybe somewhere in between?
And what is your biggest challenge right now? Speaking, listening, reading, grammar, or vocabulary?
Share your answer in the comments because we'd love to hear from you.
And your experience might help another learner who is facing the same challenge.
If you enjoyed this episode and learned something new today, don't forget to support the channel.
Keep practicing.
Keep learning.
Keep believing in your progress.
Because every word you learn today brings you one step closer to confidence.
And every sentence you speak brings you one step closer to fluency.
Thanks for spending this time with us.
And let's continue improving our English together.